Wagner. They run down the back straightaway. There's your leader, Gresham Wagner. He's pulled away from Michael Carter. He is about to prove me wrong and go flag to flag, and I'm going to have to nibble on my hat when this white flag will be displayed at the starter stand. Gresham Wagner is about to go flag to flag here in round 5 of the 2020 MX-5 Cup presented by VF Goodrich. I can't believe it. I'm having to eat my own words right now. Checkered flags are out here high above the starter stand, and they are going to wave for pole sitter. He went flag to flag. He dominates here in Ohio. Gresham Wagner wins it for Spark Performance here at Mid-Ohio. Michael Carter comes home in second. Absolutely take my hat off to Gresham Wagner. I said multiple times, nobody's ever led all the way. Nobody ever will. You're not going to see it. But Wagner, Spark Performance, Celine Roland, they all work together, and Wagner absolutely dominated them here today in Lexington. Absolutely, he's your winner. So it looks like Gresham Wagner's gone to P1. Gresham Wagner picks his spot beautifully and gets around for the top spot. So I'll quit blabbering about history here because these drivers are starting to get racy with just under 30 minutes to go, because you wonder how long does Michael Carter let Gresham Wagner sit up there, and what about Celine Roland? Gresham Wagner with less than half a lap to go now. He makes his way through the right-hander, turn number 6. He'll have 7, 8, and that very tight, slow turn 9 to navigate before the track bends back to the left, and he's pointed in the direction of the start-finish line and the checkered flag for the 10th time here in 2020. There you see him. He's all by himself. Last time by at the white flag, 2.9 seconds. The margin of the lead from Gresham Wagner back to Michael Carter. This is going to be a big points day for Michael Carter, but Gresham Wagner, after a very up and down second half of the 2020 Global Mazda MX-5 Cup season, is going to come through 11A, over the curbs in 11B. He sets sail through turn 12, and Spark Performance and their driver Gresham Wagner win today at New Jersey. The number 5 gets it done. Carter comes home in second, and Roland stands on the podium for Spark Performance in third.
And any one of the top 10, and look, the brake lights coming on from the second place driver. He's not actually braking, he's just riding the brake with his left foot so he doesn't run into the leader. And wide and high on the top side, this is an extraordinary run from Wagner, the Spark Performance car that was on pole position. He's got him into third for the moment. The red, white, and black car tries to get into second. He's not going to do that, but I think he's going to muscle his way into third. He's on the inside for the right-hand turn. What a run from Wagner. What a brilliant run from Wagner, and that shows the speed that the pole sitter had, and Gresham Wagner is up into third. Can he get any further up the field, Jay?
Yes, he can. With that sort of determination, Gresham Wagner started that rerun a long way back, nearly getting around all of them going into turn 1. Very aggressive move, but it worked. And now the car that started on pole, looking to try and get the most points from the day by winning the race.
I don't know. I really don't know. I've seen races from this position here at Daytona won by the car that's third or fourth in the line. It could even be Gresham Wagner who was on pole position. He benefited from the full course yellow with Lonnie Hunter's car, and all of a sudden from line to stern, it's 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 4 wide as they go on the line. I've got no clue at all. The Inimitsu Mazda MX-5 round 1 of 2020. It could be any one of 4 cars, and it's Wagner. Wagner wins from pole position. Extraordinary. You look at this, you look at the grid, you see the 5 car started on pole, you see the 5 car wins at the end, you think there's nothing to talk about, and yet, extraordinary stuff. The active part of the airfield still. Here comes Carter, got to get a good run onto the back straight. Oh, he was a little bit sideways there in the 08. Oh, but he's got a good run. He's got a very good run. He's up in behind. Now, don't pull out too early, Michael. Oh, he has. He's out. Was there a little drag of the brake there by the leader? Maybe you don't want to be leading in the final corner. That's what happened yesterday from Gresham Wagner, and he's got the draft again now. He'll have a look down the inside. We know he's good at doing this, but he checks up in the middle of the corner. He's going to tighten round. This is going to be tight, you know, as Michael goes wide. Well, Michael Carter did exactly what Gresham Wagner did yesterday, took too much speed into turn 17. Gresham Wagner learns from yesterday's race and turns that third into a first today. In the battle for third position, it's going to be Brian Ortiz ahead of Pearley and Jean Sand and Todd Bruras. But Spark Performance claims the top step of the podium and the maximum points for Gresham Wagner. Another brilliant race, great respect shown between all of the drivers at the sharp end of the field. Michael Carter coming up short in second. Looked at, no action. I've often said this, sometimes no call is the right call. It's been looked at. There's a lot of experience. Oh, big miss! Well, off the circuit, the leader off the circuit there at the downhill portion of the corkscrew, and Roland is under pressure, and through goes Gresham Wagner. I think he almost had to give that up because he gained an advantage by going off, certainly in time and distance. Here comes Sam Pearley down the inside of the final left-hander, and Michael Carter's right in there as well. And Roland, I understand, but coming back, that might be being looked at. It is the last lap, you'll get away with a wee bit more. Bob Barfield, our race director, is going to be loving this. A very accomplished racing driver himself before he was recruited into race control. 2 corners to go. Wagner, huge slide as he pinches it in, backs it in like a MotoGP rider, and Jean Sand's coming back into it for second now. Has Roland lost the opportunity? Well, certainly a first. Now the run to the line. It's not going to be the blanket finish, but it is going to be a win for Gresham Wagner. This could take him to the championship lead. Spark Performance from Hickson. Celine Roland in second, Orange Johnson in third, and Michael Carter.
Was earlier on, the white flag is out. Johnson pretty much in his own wheel tracks from earlier. The leaders down into the hairpin again, the Mario Andretti hairpin, and another great over and under by Gresham Wagner. He goes back to the lead. Roland on the dirt again, rubbing doors with Jared Thomas. Here comes Chris Nooms in the 32 with a white stripe down the bottom, round the inside, the outside. He can drive over the top if he needs to. And then Michael Carter in 5th position. Great comeback drive for him from the back of the grid. But it looks like Gresham Wagner has made his bid for freedom. That's a huge advantage in Mazda MX-5 Cup racing. Luke Lamar's is not out. It's going to be Gresham Wagner who wins it for Spark Performance. Brilliant stuff for him. And he will be delighted. What a fabulous weekend for him and the team. Wins round 12 at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with 2 rounds to go. Brilliant stuff.
Roland goes through into second. Wagner maybe in the best position in 4th at the moment. Maybe he can pick and choose. Chris Nooms at the moment just struggling to keep on the pace of in 5th, excuse me, Chris Nooms just struggling to stay with the pace of the top 4. 2.54 miles to go. Piscatel in a rather lonely 6th position. Then that rookie battle with Pearley, Mars, Orange Johnson and Jensen Altsman now back down to 10th position. I'm not that far away from them as well. But the final lap at the front of the field comes down. It's not running at the moment. Do you want to be leading on the final lap? Jared Thomas thinks he's got the run down the inside of the leader, Michael Carter, down into 10. It's these two. Can any one of the trio behind make hay if these two falter? They're side by side. They're 3 across the track coming under the Fox Factory Bridge. It's another classic Inamitsu Mazda MX-5 finish. Almost 4 wide in the final corner, and Gresham Wagner sideways across the line has won it. Wagner has won it on the lock stops opposite lock. Absolutely extraordinary. Wagner, who dropped down to the bottom end of the top 10, has come through the field on the run to the line. I said you had to be on the inside if you were going to do it. Took a huge amount of curve, completely sideways, no lift, and the width of a BF Goodrich tyre has sealed the deal for Gresham Wagner and for Spark Performance from a race where it looked like his championship was going awry. He has pulled it out in the last yard, the very last yard, and he was sideways out of the final corner using every one of the 180 horsepower. He kept his right foot buried, and it's Spark Performance.
Piscatell not using his tires or his brakes to the extreme yet. The car is not sliding around. It's not unstable. The same can be said for Celine Roland as Gresham Wagner looks for the lead again going into turn 4. This time he gets it, but will the over-under stick? Yes, it does. The one difference that I've seen, Jared Thomas, he's using his rear tires a lot. How much power is he going to have at the end of this 40-minute contest?
BF Goodrich tyres for all of the IMSA Mazda MX-5 Cup drivers. You get a limited number for the weekend, so you do have to think about how you're going to use them between practice, qualifying and the 2 races. Another race tomorrow, that will be on the drivers' minds as well. A full course yellow.
Caution.
Full course yellow is out. This is severe weather and electrical activity within the permitted area. Race control has had no option but to throw the red on this. Shea Adam is ever going to challenge the first 2 who are together through turn 10. Oh my goodness me! Wagner at the very last moment with 2 to go comes through and takes the lead. Gresham Wagner exactly where, yes, goes purple in that sector, exactly where he lost the lead a few laps ago to the number 72 of Connor Zilic. He has taken it back. The white flag is being waved by Tony on the starter stand, and we have a new leader, and it's Gresham Wagner for Spark Performance back to the front. And does he nick back the best lap time? He does. 1:24.466. He takes the BF Goodrich fastest lap of the race. He was right under the rear bumper of the leader, came out at the last minute. It was decent defence, I have to say, by Connor Zilic. Very, very fair defence as well, Shea Adam. They both could have ended up in a pile of parts there. Respectful but hard racing. This is exactly what we expect, and we're now just about a mile away from the checkered flag with Gresham Wagner leading it.
Yeah, but how long is he going to be leading it? John Connor Zilic cuts right up underneath his bumper. He's now seeing that Gresham left him very little warning to pull out for that move.
Defended by the leader. Wagner defends
brilliantly
into the middle of the circuit, but that's going to slow him down on the exit. There's an overlap for a moment, and it looked like the second place car was going through. Connor Zilic and Gresham Wagner, what brilliant entertainment. Just 2 cars at the head of the field here. We're so used to seeing it being close. Just coming through on the back corner, it's the bump and run from the Hickson driver. Right in the middle of 13 and 14 in the sprint to the line. Watch Wagner come out to the right-hand side. He might still get the draft. He's side by side. There was a little bit of side drafting going on there. And across the line, Wagner's taking it back. Impressive indeed. Tony with the VP Racing Fuel checkered flag out. Side by side to the line. How close was it? I don't think it was even the width of a bumper. And the left hand of Gresham Wagner straight out and at the line. Oh my goodness, that's as close to a dead heat as we've seen. 0.021.
Unofficially, because this is by my rudimentary arithmetic, we do have a new championship leader as far as this race is.
Says IMSA Mazda MX-5 as a championship in one voice. Top 4 then, coming around with just on 5.5 minutes to go. I reckon that's the lap they're about to start, and 2 more after that.
I'm sorry, that was comedy. Gresham Wagner led the last lap. He then didn't lead again until they were coming across the stripe, so he's credited with leading both of those laps.
Dropped down to 5th
Yes.
at one stage. So that is encapsulated there in 4.048 miles. That is IMSA Mazda MX-5 racing in Gresham Wagner's last 4 miles around this circuit. So he's back to the front now with the red car of Jared Thomas of JTR behind him. Then the lighter coloured machine is Robert Noaker in the Noaker racing car. I'd still say any of the top 8 or 9 could be on the podium at the very least.
There's 14.
Cicero coming back down the outside again, down into turn 5. He likes that behind Cicero. Aaron Johnson, he's had a good run up through the field as well. This is all about gaining championship points here. You've got to understand, if you are battling for that $250,000 at the end of the season, you have to take what's on offer here. Far better to get points for 4th or 5th or 6th than to end up in the wall.
Exactly.
Door now opened, and Joy able to get himself out once he unfastens the belts. Well, let's try and pick out what's happened here. It was a little touch on the back of Hannah Zellers by Joy, and that pitched her into what is euphemistically called a tank slatter. Coming to the line, a win is a win is a win. And Gresham Wagner, how important then was getting back to the lead after he dropped down outside of the podium finishes on that previous lap, led the penultimate lap under green, leads the final lap under yellow, and comes through for Spark Performance. Gresham Wagner leads it from JTR Motorsports Engineering's Jared Thomas in second, and Robert